One, two, check, 3, 4. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Check, 1, 2.
Hey, we're Edison Glass, and we're here on GearWire.com.
The guitar I'm using right now is my number one. Is a Fender Jaguar, and just like James's, we just got these guitars given to us from Fender, and they're new. I'm not sure if they've come out yet. I don't think they have, but they redid the Jaguar and they redid the Jazzmaster, and they fixed all the tuning problems. And my guitar stays in tune. The intonation is great. It's actually better than my American Telly right now. So I switched from my American Telly to the Jaguar, and so that's my guitar. And gear, I'm pretty simple. I just use full tone, the full drive. And I got a green delay, the Line 6 delay pedal, volume pedal. And I go into probably my favorite amp on the planet, and that's Dr. Z Maserati. And they stopped making them, but Dr. Z makes tons of amps that are beautiful. And recording a lot of amps is definitely my favorite amp that I've ever recorded. So. I mean, for us, Edison Glass, we wanted to go for, I don't know, more of a original guitar sound instead of that same guitar sound that you hear always. So that's why we choose to get, a little bit more spanky with our tone and more natural tube overdrives instead of, the huge saturation sound. But we love the sound that we get.
I play Pro Master Series drums, and I've had those for a couple months now. Before that, I played a Premiere set, and these drums are great for me because ever since we recorded our second album, I've just been really needing a bigger drum tone. And so my Premieres that I had were smaller sizes. There's like a 10-inch tom and a 14-inch tom and a 22 by 19 kick. And now my sizes with the Pro Masters are, I've got a 13 by 9-inch tom, and then I've got a 16 by 16-inch floor tom and a 24 by 18 kick, so 24 circumference. And it's just made such a difference live, I think, just because it's a huger sound. And speaking of new gear, I've just recently put on Remo Vintage A heads, which are brand new from Remo, and it's just kind of going after that vintage sound, I guess like a Ringo kind of thing. But on these drums, it's just really, I don't know, it's just brought out a really cool tone. So so I've been enjoying those. And then I have a custom snare. Greg Keplinger makes it, and he's done drum work for, a lot of cats in Seattle, namely like Pearl Jam or Soundgarden back in the day. So I've been using that on snare, and then I also have a Slingerland, like a vintage, I think it's a 40s. And then for sticks, I use Vic Firth 3A, because live they just, I don't know if I'd use those like recording. I don't use them on everything, but for Edison Glass I need to, because they just get a little bit more, I just get a little bit more power out of them. It's a little easier to make my strokes with those. And what else do I use? I don't know. I have a lot of random hardware, Zildjian cymbals, and if Zildjian is watching this, please give me an endorsement, because I've been knocking at your door for one for a long time. And Remo, do the same.
We do something kind of interesting live. We use projection, basically run a software called Ableton Live, and we use a click track on one track, and we have stereo tracks, and then we also have video. So it's all synced up, all the videos timed. Our drummer gets a mix of click and tracks in his headphones, and he's got a mixer, so he can blend whatever he wants to hear, and then we send 2 stereo channels out to the house. We run it with a MacBook Pro, and it's been really neat. It's been a lot of extra work to set up the projection screen, but from our fans that have seen us with and without, and they say it's a really nice addition and adds a lot. And all our videos are kind of like, they're either homemade or taken from like vintage films and timed right to our music, so it's really neat to watch.
We just co-produced and put out a record called Time is Fiction, and it came out February. You should check it out because it's some of our best music.
I guess what's neat is we didn't use a lot of overdrive. We just turned the amps up and used all tube overdrive, and I love it. I wish I could do that live, but my amp is just way too loud. It's like on 1 always, and our sound person's like, you got to turn it down. So I want to get a hot plate, but still, that's not the same thing.
Go buy our record. Come see us on tour. We're going to be all over the country for the next couple months. Years.
For you, will see me through. Oh.